Chapter 6, Part 3. This is the final narrated chapter PowerPoint as it relates to Chapter 6. The reproductive system. Males' reproductive systems include testes, seminal vesicles, prostate gland, epididymis, ejaculator ducts, urethra, penis, and spermatic cords. Primary functions is sperm production, storage, maintenance, and excretion of seminal fluid, and secretion of hormones. Testosterone. The female reproductive system is ovaries, made up of ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, vagina, labia, breasts, and mammary glands. The primary function is for ovulation, fertilization, menstruation, pregnancy, labor, lactation, and secretion of hormones. Primary hormones being estrogen and progesterone. I apologize, that slide doesn't want to come up. I'll pull it up here. Biological identity and gender identity. Intersex individuals born with internal and external reproductive systems are not considered standard for either male or female. In gender identity, a gender a person feels or perceives based on their own personal experiences. So it's really essential that when we draw blood, we make sure we find out what sex the patient was born with, if they are transgender, and this is normally indicated on the requisition or by the physician. Disorders of the reproductive system, malignant tumors, cysts, sexually transmitted diseases such as gonorrhea, genital herpes, syphilis, and HIV, infertility, and gender dysphoria. Laboratory tests, we can do fertility tests, semen analysis, anti-sperm antibodies and hormonal analysis, cytogenetic analysis, cross-sex hormonal therapy, and gender-affirming surgical options. We can do blood tests, tissue biopsies, pap smears, microbiological and viral cultures of infected areas. And I apologize as that last slide did not come up. So laboratory test panels, we could do a basic metabolic panel, comprehensive metabolic panel, cardiovascular screen such as a lipid profile. When we're talking about the cardiovascular lymphatic system, we cover this in detail in Chapter 7. You can do electrolytes, hepatic function panel, hepatitis panel acute, and renal panel. The hepatic panel is a liver panel, where the renal panel looks at the kidneys. Please be aware that the basic metabolic panel is inside the complete metabolic panel. The complete just goes into more detail, and we will cover this again inside Chapter 7, as well as in our live draw lab books. Emerging technology. So there's the PCR methodologies, genomic testing expanding, and clinical laboratory personnel knowledgeable about acquiring, handling, and processing specimens from transgender patients. Please be aware that when we're looking at this, we do want to indicate if they haven't gone through the full hormonal sex change, that we indicate that so our laboratory can process the sample sufficiently and give the patient accurate test results. More emerging technology. The healthcare worker should stay abreast of emerging technologies and health issues such as microbial resistance infections such as Zika virus, Ebola, and now with COVID-19, we're doing more testing to see how it affects the patient's body and affects the patient's overall physiological system. This concludes Chapter 6, Part 3. Please view the questions at the end of the chapter as well as the case studies in action and practice. This is a brief overview of medical terminology as it relates to laboratory. You will have taken a course either concurrently or prior to cover medical terminology in regards to how to break down medical terms. But as the semester continues, we will break down terms as we go as a class. But if there is any term you're unsure of or how it associates, please let our faculty know. This concludes the Chapter 6 narrated PowerPoint.